I'm here with Isaiah Truly Blessed Rodriguez and Jason DeCarlo of All Heart Boxing. Isaiah fought on Friday night, got a majority decision. Probably should have been a unanimous decision, but that's how the judges put it. So, what did you think of your performance?
I think there's a couple things I need to work on, but overall I feel like the work we put in and what we trained for showed that night, so that's good.
What kind of things do you feel like you need to work on?
I just feel like I need to just work a little bit more on my range. I feel like going in there with such a shorter opponent, I should have definitely utilized my reach a little bit more.
Is that something that you were kind of surprised at, him being able to get inside your reach and land some punches at the beginning of the fight?
I wasn't too surprised on it, just because that's kind of the name of the game. You know, they're going to come, they're going to be aggressive, and with his background I knew he was going to be able to walk through a lot of my punches. But at the same time too, I could have, like I said, utilized it a little bit more and really kept him on the outside, used the footwork and bounced around and really boxed him.
So it seemed like in your fight, after probably the second round, you seemed a lot more comfortable. How much of that was you finding your range, and how much of that was getting your confidence back after the two losses?
It was a little bit of both, definitely a mix. I feel like nerves play a lot into the play, especially with coming off those two losses, finally being back at home. I was a little nervous with how my performance would go, but I would say that the confidence definitely picked up when I really just, I guess I would say, like after the first round, I like woke up and realized like it's a fight, there's no going back, I'm already right here, so time to push forward.
So what's in your immediate future?
Immediate future, we have the next All Heart Promotions show coming up in June. What was that, the 22nd, 21st? And so that's the one we know for sure is locked in and ready to go. If anything makes sense before that, then we're definitely up for the challenge for sure. But that's the one we got coming up next.
So you're 3-3 now. What are your goals for this year?
For this year, we're hoping to end the year positive instead of negative, opposed to last year. But the main thing is just trying to stay busy and get as much experience as we can, and just stay working hard.
So what would you say is a dream fight for you?
A dream fight for me, like, for me personally, like, I came from pretty much nothing, not really a lot of experience in the amateurs. So the biggest thing for me is fighting the best, win or lose, but being able to say that I stepped in there with those people.
Excellent. And anything you'd like to say in closing?
In closing, I would just say just keep working hard and don't give up on your dreams, because you never know what can happen when you follow them.
Okay, one more question I had for you. As far as your nickname, Truly Blessed, can you give us some insight on how you got that nickname?
Yeah, I always thought of my life like more like if I was like cursed with a bad hand dealt for me, but in doing so, I realized like just persevering and everything that I went through actually made me who I am right now. And so it turned out that that curse wasn't so much a curse, it was a blessing, and so I'm truly blessed to be here.
Thank you. Jason, how do you feel your first card went?
I feel it went good. It was very nerve-wracking, but I feel like it went good. We actually worked with Total Mayhem on a card, and I've worked with Tracy Spinks on a card before, but yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot more than you realize until you start doing it. So.
As far as goals in the future for All Heart Boxing, what are you looking to accomplish?
So when we went into this, that there was a dead end with these guys when they come out of the amateurs. There just really wasn't a next step. Tracy was doing good before he passed away and starting to build something, but other than that, you know, there's just not a lot for them. So me and my wife had talked about it 2 years ago and said, hey, what do you think about promoting some fights and just to give these guys another shot. I'm not in this to become Don King or make money or anything like that. It's just to give these guys opportunity. And, you know, I think we did a pretty good job. You know, I was happy. I told my wife going into this, probably 2 years of losing money, and I think we broke even on this one. There's still some numbers coming in, but So I'm happy that we broke even. So
How many cards are you looking to put on per year?
3 to 4. I don't really think we can do more than that. We work full-time jobs and it's a lot of work, and so 3 to 4. We got 3 planned this year. We got another one June 21st and November 22nd. So, but that's probably going to be the limits of it for right now.
Who do you have planned to fight in June?
I'll have Isaiah on there. We'll probably bring Bobby back, and I might bring Armando up. He's 3-1. I think he had a really bad decision on the card. What was that? November, when November. He lost, and I think it was a bad decision. So he's a good fighter. We've known him since my son was little. We used to go spar with him, and I would really, like to put him on. He's a good guy.
You mentioned that you thought of this a couple years ago and takes a couple of years to get to fruition. Tell us about the process towards initially having the idea to actually implementing it and then putting the card on.
Well, mostly it was talking my wife into it. But my wife is technically the promoter. She's the one that holds the license. So there was a lot of legwork trying to get information. Like I said, we worked with a couple other promoters and did some stuff, but we didn't realize how much was involved. There was stuff that's on the job training right now that we're learning. But I think we did pretty good for our first time, and I'm happy with our performance. I hope we can keep that momentum.
You wore a couple of hats the other night. Not only were you the promoter or the promoter's husband, but you also worked some corners there.
Yeah.
In the main event with Eric Sanchez, you ended up having to stop the fight. Tell us, what's it like to get to the point where you just feel like you need to stop your fighter?
I think as a coach, and I told Isaiah the whole time, I was like, my job is to protect you. These guys are fighters and they'll go out, however they have to go out. That they never want it to be stopped. I've never actually met a fighter that wanted it to be stopped, but sometimes you got to make a decision. He took that fight on very short notice, and he just wasn't in the right conditioning. He actually did us a favor taking it because the opponent had pulled out, and so I didn't want it to get to a point where he got hurt. So it was a decision I made that I think it's best that we stop it. So I told him, if it doesn't change, I'm gonna have to stop it. So
long term, what would you say is the long-term goal? You mentioned getting some of the younger fighters experience, so they're not going out and just kind of being the opponents on road shows, being able to get them their experience and everything. Ultimately, are there any fighters you would like to bring in?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to make it happen. I don't know if it's possible, but I'd love to see Aaron Garcia Jr. fight local. He has a ridiculously awesome amateur pedigree, and he has the chances to go pretty high in the sport, and it would be nice to see him fight in front of his home crowd before he gets to the point where nobody can afford him here. I'd like to see that. But there's a lot of amateurs coming up right now that I think are going to be, possibly those potentials. Utah has some really good fighters. Our problem is we don't have that next step for them. And so you do, and I mean, you've been in the sport, you end up on the road. There's a lot of politics involved. They do a lot of studying on you before they call and offer you a fight. So when they know that when you're coming, you're probably going to lose and you're the B side of the card. And it's rough. We've taken some rough fights with him that, we probably wouldn't have took if there was other opportunities here.
Is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
I really appreciate you coming out. I appreciate all the fans that showed up. We had a really good crowd, and I want to thank everybody that helped us put that show on. There was a lot of help there, and I really do appreciate it. So every single person, Armando Reyes, all the volunteers from the gym that helped out. I know Haley and Lawrence and Quincy and just everybody that helped us out. I really do appreciate everybody. We couldn't have done it without them.
Would you like to say a shout out to your wife or?
Absolutely. to my wife for putting it on and letting us do this.
All right. Thank you very much.